I am at our river and I have something I want to share that has the potential to change your life in drastic, profound ways. And it's very simple. All you have to do is truly believe and feel this. And if you already do, then you're there. And the belief is this: everything is happening for a reason. And I'm sure you've heard that before. Everything is happening for me for a reason. And the most potent time to use this is in hard times. That's the most transformational way to use this. True. Because what it does is shifts hard moments from feeling like the only purpose, the only thing that can come of it, was suffering. I will use my own life as a testimony to this. So some examples that are very heavy, forewarning. When I was either 3 or 6 months old, in that range, my twin and I were physically abused by my father and taken away from our mother for 3 weeks. Now, it's horrible, right, to think of that, such a thing happening to a baby, let alone yourself as a baby. This fly keeps landing on my hand. Just horrible. And I have spent a year and a half processing that because I didn't know this until a year and a half ago. But the amazing thing that came from that was that because that happened, we were placed in the care of our family friends, just the sweetest couple, and they gave us an amazing childhood. She became our babysitter, and her husband also cared for us as well, but he was a firefighter, so that wasn't his job. And they did all kinds of things with us. We went to Knott's Berry Farm. We played outside in their backyard with bubbles. They picked us up from school. They brought us to school. They got us new clothes. Every year for school, we would do school shopping. And the only reason I had them in my life, which otherwise could have been very bleak, is because of what happened that night with my father, who I have since forgiven. I feel like it's important to say. That was hard to find forgiveness, but I did find it. And I found forgiveness in realizing that he had to be in a lot of pain, which I knew he was because he had a horrible childhood. He had to be in a lot of pain to be able to cause that kind of suffering and pain to someone else, let alone someone so innocent and young, a baby. I will give you another example from my life, as if that one's not enough. Another example is also very heavy. Back in November, less than a year ago, my third child, my son, was stillborn. And I knew when it happened that this was happening for a reason. I didn't know it yet. I knew that there was a reason. I knew it would be revealed to me in time. And wow, it has been, I wouldn't be here without him. Let me take a moment to feel this. I would not be sitting here next to this river in this beautiful forest, a place that I have always dreamed of living. We moved here when I was pregnant with him. And after his birth and his, death, I went into a deep hell. Heaven and hell exists on the mental plane in your consciousness. It is not something that's not on this earth. It's within us. I went into a deep hell. And I don't know if you've ever been in moments where you feel so overwhelmed with life, because I have 2 other young kids. And so overwhelmed with life, and at the same time holding such sorrow that sometimes the alternative to life seems like it would feel easier. It would feel a lot lighter, right? When you're dealing with that kind of sorrow. But through all of that, I held out hope because I knew that it was happening for a reason, and His Spirit would show us signs. And I mean, now here I am, feeling more clear than ever, feeling more guided and alive and connected, and knowing who I am more than ever. If He was here, I would still be in a state of overwhelm. I would still feel like I couldn't do anything with my life because I'm a mother of, 2 young kids, 3 young kids if He was here. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be having this amazing experience that I am. And I truly believe that the only reason that I was able to see that is because throughout all of it, I believed there was a reason for it. And our beliefs heavily, they create our world entirely. I've been listening to the work of Neville Goddard. And it's really shifted things and made things so much more clear for me. What I want to really share is how much our beliefs shape our lives. Every single one. I believe that my house is messy, so my house is always messy. I believe that I don't have any time for myself as a young mother of 2 kids, so I don't have any time. So that was past me before I've started being conscious and aware of how my beliefs create my reality. Now I have time for myself. I'm out here by myself, and my kids are safe and at home and happy and healthy and being cared for. I feel so inspired to share this because I truly came and lived in a mental space of hell. And I want to show other people that you don't have to be there forever, that life isn't just sorrow, because I believed it was. I wondered why we came here. What's the point of life if we just experience this misery and suffering? Why do we go through this? Because I believed that. That's already what I believed life was, so I got more experience that life was sorrow and suffering. But the silver lining to all that is there was a purpose for it, right? That I believed. So if you are able to find that one belief that carries you through the heaviness, you can be here. You can be anywhere you want. Just one little belief. The belief that this can be true for me too. That I can also make it out of hell. Believe that every single day. And when you face something that, is coming up to you and you're like, it makes you question your belief. This is happening for a reason. This is showing me something. Now, a good way to cultivate this is to find that time, to make that time. Don't say, I don't have the time. Believe that you have the time and you will find the time. Trust me, as a mother of 2 young kids, who's tired at the end of the day, who's working on that belief. You have the time. Every single thing, and you see what I'm saying? Every single thing, every belief shapes your life. You are the creator. The I am, I just recently realized, is us when we realize our full potential. It's really magical, good stuff. So I'm feeling really inspired. I wanted to share that with you all. As someone who's very recently come out of that hellish mindscape, that overwhelmed, doomed mindscape. When I was suffering, everything felt like hell, everything that was happening, because that's what I believed. Just a tiny seed. Just a tiny seed. That's all you need. That's all you need to realize this, to realize anything you want. So I highly recommend looking into the work of Neville Goddard. The first book that I listened to, it's free on YouTube. There's so many books of his for free that you can listen to on YouTube. First one I listened to is, I believe it's called Feeling is the Secret. And that one really shifted things for me. I also liked Katie Clark a little bit, but it feels a little bit more complicated. The way Neville Goddard explains it, it's very simple and easy to attain. True fly. So it's just a little belief. And so, I wanted to share. The reason I shared my testimonies is because I can look back at those and find the connection, find that belief, the thing that allows me to believe that everything happens for a reason. So I also recommend doing that in your own life. Sorry if this video is all over the place. I'm realizing that I wanted to share ways that you could cultivate this, and then the only thing I gave was to get time by yourself, and then I went off into how I find that for myself again. What was I saying? Okay, yes. So I was saying that you can create this belief. If you don't have it now, you can create this belief by looking back at something that happened that in your life that you felt was horrible, and then piece together all of the good that it has done for you, or what wouldn't have happened without this without this thing happening. And just watch it change your life, and how your other beliefs start to change. And then once your beliefs start falling over like dominoes, all those negative beliefs, and you start reshaping them into a way that benefits your life is going to be completely changed. So yeah, the way that I recommend cultivating this, besides finding time, creating time for yourself, because I corrected myself, because if you're finding time, that means you're saying, I don't have time right now. So create the time for this. Believe you have the time for this. It doesn't have to be complicated. I want to say that because I can tend to overcomplicate and overthink things. It's very simple. It's very simple. Time. Pay attention to your nervous system. If something's not making you feel safe, maybe look inwards. Why is this making me feel anxious? Maybe notice when you are anxious and tune into that if you can. Get the time to calm down, or even once you master, or not even master, because I started doing this a few days ago. Once you realize your beliefs create everything, you can feel yourself saying, I am anxious, I am overwhelmed. So then you shift that. Maybe first accept it. Instead of pushing it away, accept it. I'm feeling this way. Understand why. And then you can shift that from there, because it becomes malleable once you accept it and allow it to soften. And then you can realize you are calm, you are supported, God is always flowing through you. Things like that. That's my recommendations. I actually had a moment like that on the way here. I realized that I was feeling anxious about this time that I'm getting for myself to create, and I let the anxiousness go. And then I just told myself that everything that I need to say flows through me. God flows through me exactly how it's meant to be. It's not going to, it is. It's always in the now. That is another thing that Neville Goddard teaches. And I'll share one more belief that I looked at this morning, which is feeling unheard, feeling unseen, like what I have to share isn't valued. So that's a belief that I have. And I saw it when my son threw a ball at me, right in my throat. And, okay, so the first time, he wasn't trying to hurt me, right? But I did get a little upset, but I blew it off. The second time, he threw it and it hit me right in the ear. And I got upset and I yelled because we told him to stop throwing the ball at me. And when this was happening, I was telling my husband about my exciting experiences, about these things that I felt were really valuable and I really wanted to be seen. And I have to go over there and talk to him while they're playing, because otherwise he can't hear me because my son is being so loud. And my belief was that he's not hearing me. He's not going to be able to hear me. And it was validated in that moment. I took a moment to step out after getting hit in the throat and the ear, which is very funny, you know, the voice and the listening. And I told myself in that moment, this is happening for me. Something here, it's silly. I just got hit with the ball 2 times by my 4-year-old son, but this is happening for me. I went outside, I took a moment because my husband was able to play with the kids. More finding that time alone, right? Time to process that I haven't felt like I've had before, that I believed I didn't have. And I asked, well, first I just sat with my feelings, first of all. And I realized that feeling of feeling unheard, feeling like even maybe if he can hear me perfectly fine, that I'm not being received. And it has nothing to do with him. It's my beliefs. So my beliefs, my conscious beliefs imprint upon my subconscious, and then that subconscious creates that reality for me. And it's really interesting to see how that intertwines with other people, but it's because we're all from source. We're all interconnected. So you can see that play out in your relationships. And so when I went and sat down on my deck and I looked out at the ridge, sort of like this one that's right here, we have one. I was looking out and I realized that belief was coming up for me to look at. I'm like, oh my God, this is happening for me. It's happening so I could reshape this belief and see how I'm feeling and how that is creating this reality of where I'm not feeling heard and I'm getting frustrated because I feel like I'm not heard. Now, something powerful you can do when something like this comes up, you realize that feeling, right? Is you can look back and see, why did I feel that way? Why have I felt that way my whole life? Well, me, I'm a youngest sibling of 5. It was a loud house. And you can imagine there's bigger people, there's louder people. Their voices feel more important. So I'm not feeling heard. So I told myself that makes sense, that I felt that way, that I have grown up feeling that way. And you sit with that. First you let it soften. Sometimes this process takes longer. Sometimes you want to sit with it longer and let it melt more. But once you start allowing things to soften, you don't have to sit with them for so long. I believe. And I sat with that. And then I realized that I am not that little girl anymore. That I am 25 years old, that I can share my voice, that I can create environments for where my voice feels heard. I don't have to feel that way anymore. I don't have to believe that anymore. That is my truth and the truth of my reality. So that's just a simple moment or simple example of how me getting hit by a ball twice by I was gonna say toddler, he's not really, my boy is crazy. He's my 4-year-old boy already. But how getting hit by a ball by my young child was even something that I was able to see for me. So I hope you enjoyed these stories. I hope that it unlocked a seed within you as well. I really would love to reach some people who feel like they're in a dark place, a stuck place, overwhelmed, stressed. Because I know what it's like. And I hope that my light can shine a light within you. That there is hope. And that you're not going to be there forever. You're not. See you next time.